major step toward a potential ban of TikTok.
The U.S. House voted overwhelmingly today to pass a bill that could ban TikTok here in the U.S.
There is bipartisan agreement, at least in the lower house, that TikTok is a risk to national security.
The United States House of Representatives overwhelmingly passed a bill on March 13th requiring the Chinese tech firm ByteDance to spin off TikTok, a short video application that has 170 million users. The bill stipulates that, due to the perceived threat TikTok poses to U.S. national security, if ByteDance does not divest or sell TikTok within 165 days, the social media platform will be removed from U.S. app stores. Spreading content about TikTok and web pages will also be deemed illegal.
This legislation, if signed into law, will lead to a ban of TikTok in the United States. It will put more than 300,000 American jobs at risk, and it will take away your TikTok.
Keep TikTok! Keep TikTok! Keep TikTok!
Numerous American citizens have protested against the bill, attempting to uphold the interests of American users and small businesses that benefit from this video sharing platform.
I'm a content creator of lifestyle. TikTok is my biggest platform. It allows me the largest reach. So if the ban was to take place, I would essentially be losing my voice. In addition to that, with TikTok being my largest platform, it's the one that brings me the most work. So if there was a ban, it would essentially be stripping me of my largest revenue source.
According to the Oxford Economics, TikTok brought in $14.7 billion in revenue for American small business owners, with 39% of them stating that TikTok was crucial to their survival, and 69% indicating that TikTok had boosted their sales over the past year. Besides affecting the livelihoods of American people, the ban of TikTok seems to violate the First Amendment of the United States Constitution.
There's 170 million U.S. users of TikTok. Their freedom of speech is being infringed either as listeners or as speakers. That if they follow the law, that the bill will be declared unconstitutional. And so there's two First Amendment rights that are at stake here. The first right is a right of the participants, the people who consume TikTok. Then there's the right of the people who actually are the creators, who depend on it for their business. That is called commercial speech. And commercial speech for creators is also protected.
So why do the US lawmakers insist on banning TikTok regardless of the legal rights and livelihoods of the American people? They say it's for protecting the national security of America.
Have its algorithm controlled by ByteDance, which is beholden to the Chinese government.
But is this true?
When the US government almost killed Huawei, they raised the same national security concerns. But then, like now, there's no proof. They used weasel words like could and would. They've never proven that threat.
We should also recognize that companies like Meta with Facebook, Google, any other company, whether it's American or foreign, also poses national security risks. If we're truly about national security, what would make more sense is to examine some of the technological, the policy, data management issues and work to resolve those. Many people would suggest and believe that national security really is just a fig leaf or an excuse to attack a company because of its relationship to China.
In response to allegations of data security, TikTok established the Project Texas with the American company Oracle, storing TikTok's US data and overseeing its compliance with the data security regulations. So now the question is, what is the real reason for the US remorseless attempt to crack down on TikTok?
I want to talk about my GDP model for what's going on here is greed. domestic politics and paranoia.
Interestingly, ByteDance is a Chinese company, but you can say that ByteDance is a Sino-US company because one of the top Republican and Trump donors, Jeff Yass, owns at least a $20 billion stake in it.
Former Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin would also like to buy TikTok. He hopes to get it for a very good price. So that's the greed part. There's also a domestic politics part, anti-China, that unites Democrats and Republicans in a very divided, otherwise divided, Washington, D.C. And the P part is the paranoia. It's the U.S. is losing its number one spot as global leader that it's held for a few decades.
I think what has really galvanized many American politicians is that the American supporters of Israel have been terrified of what TikTok has done in terms of showing the unfiltered reality of just the tragic, horrible things going on in Gaza. And not only that, but this has turned many young Americans vehemently against Israel. And I think this has terrified many of these supporters of Israel, and they've put a lot of pressure. Some would call this the Jewish lobby in the United States, have put a tremendous amount of pressure on American lawmakers. And I think this is why we've seen this bill move through the House of Representatives so quickly and with such strong support.
When the US politicians are trying to ban TikTok out of greed, political manipulation, and its hegemonic mentality, what will be the consequences? According to Oxford Economics, TikTok contributed $24.2 billion to the US GDP in 2023 and created at least 224,000 jobs in the country. Banning the company will inevitably damage the economy and employment in the US. What's more, the crackdown on TikTok is not actually a battle between US lawmakers and the Chinese-owned company, because approximately 60% of TikTok's shares are held by global institutional investors, including financial giants like Susquehanna International Group and BlackRock, and 3 out of 5 members of TikTok's board of directors are Americans.
From an ideological perspective, that it raises some troubling questions about the belief of the American government and the American people. What this already has done, it has shaken confidence by many around the world in the United States as a safe and reliable place to do business. Because in a sense, we can say that national security concerns have been weaponized to single out, and some would say very unfairly, target a particular company. So if it's been done once, could it be done to other companies for other reasons?
So I think that the other tech companies have to watch their backs, because this is just the first salvo in more control, supervision, and kind of de facto takeover of them, no matter where they're from.
With all the potential consequences following the TikTok bill, US President Biden said that he'll sign the bill if it makes it to his desk ahead of the 2024 election. And this may be the consequence of his decision.
Because we have to remember, of the 170 million or more Americans that use TikTok, many, if not most of them, are young. And this, in fact, even Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo said that a ban like this, if it takes effect, could alienate a generation of voters from the Democratic Party.
After the House of Representatives, the bill moves to the Senate for a vote before being submitted to Biden. Will the US stick to the ban of TikTok and let it backfire, or finally wake up to the backlash against the bill at home and abroad?